Eric from TowWhee here, and I am super excited to get this box. This is the HPC Trailblazer. Let's get it open and see what it's all about. I ordered this bike a long time ago. They've been making constant improvements and updates to it as its development has come along. What's exciting about this e-bike is that it can be a Class 1 e-bike, or it can be more than a Class 1 e-bike. Thumb throttle, unregulated, as fast as you want it. This says Fender. I've got a box of, it says accessories here. Seat. Just making sure everything else is clear and ready to pull out. There we go. I have these fun little bike holders. It'll keep it from tipping over while I work on it. This has the Spank 50mm stem. 50mm stem is about the right size for me for most large frames. Wow, check out that display. Okay, bars are on so they're not dangling and causing a problem. Okay, so I have this 1-up dropper seat post I'm putting in it. And my first question is if the dropper post cable can get pulled through the frame. So they've left the cable installed for me. Oh yes, it will move through the frame. That is awesome. I've seen e-bikes that the dropper post cable will not pull through the frame, that the motor puts too much pressure on it. But now that I see that the dropper post will work, it's going to be no problem. One of the things that HPC asked me about when I ordered the bike is how long a dropper post I wanted. And I want at least 150 millimeters of dropper post travel. And so we wanted to make sure that there was enough space in the seat tube before the kink, before the angle. And I can see that I can drop this post all the way in the frame to the collar. So this will take at least 225 millimeters of depth. So it'll go, more than 225 millimeters of depth before the post drops, before the post bottoms out. So that is good to know. So let's get it up in the stand to keep working on it. The saddle is a WTB Volt, a decent saddle. I've spent plenty of time on WTB seats in my life. One unique thing about these bikes is they have the thumb throttle, which is one of the things I'm most excited about. As you can see behind me here, I am a motorcycle guy, and I enjoy going fast, but I don't always have to pedal for it. So there's the Magura disc, instruction manuals for the brakes, the fork. Oh, we've got some decent flat pedals. Looks like the screws to put the disc on with, the HPC charger, and keys. Does this thing have keys? Start getting a view of the finished bike here. Now the first thing I want to work on is the cockpit, the handlebar setup. It's a little bit busy with all of these controls, and the first thing I notice is that they have the thumb throttle mounted to the left. As a motorcycle guy and who rides snowmobiles, I'm not sure that I can deal with throttling with the left hand, so I think I'm going to start my first try with moving the thumb throttle over to the right and installing my dropper post lever on the left where I'm used to it being. So I was thinking that once I get that done, if you wanted to shift while using the thumb throttle, this might be a good application for like a grip shift type of system. So maybe we can make that change down the road, but we're going to give this a try. So I'm going to move some wires. So first thing, I've got the dropper post lever. They've got it routed over to the right side, but we're going to move it to the left. So they have kind of a cool zip tie system here the way that the zip ties are held together. It looks clean and it's really creative. I like it a lot. These are SDG grips. They feel really nice. Thumb throttle goes back on the other side. I'm trying to be mindful of how the wires route in there. Let's go get my dropper lever. I actually really like how these SDG grips kind of press in as you like way out on the end. They press fit so that the clamp isn't the only thing that's holding them in place. I kind of wish that the dropper cable were coming out of this other port for this angle. I wonder if I'm talented enough to get it fished over there. All right, I've got some baling wire and some electrical tape, which might do the trick. I need the dropper post out. So I need my seat at about 37, maybe 38 inches. Okay, let's see if we've got dropper function. And we do. So the next obvious thing we can install are the pedals. I actually think having the proper fitting front fender for your fork is pretty awesome. So is that it? What am I missing? The battery has this lock, and you unlock it and the key springs back, and then the battery disengages here, and then you turn this lever to fully take the battery out. And it's secure. Clip in, make sure it's up. There you go. Okay, so I think the bike is finished and ready to turn on and try out. So I've got a power button here, so I'm going to press and hold the power button. And we've got display. I just kind of want to try the throttle. So I'm going to turn it from 0 mode up to 1. Woo! Oh my gosh. This is pretty exciting. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the highest mode. Okay, well, there it is. It's built and it works, so I need to go ride it. Weight, stock weight as built, looks like it's about 57 pounds. I think that has to do with the bigger battery and of course the big powerful motor. A few comments on the overall build of the bike. Even though, you know, to me HPC is not a name brand bike builder and frame compared to, you know, like my Santa Cruz's, the component spec is really nice. So I actually ordered just the basic model. I did not get the Pro model, and man, it's got really nice equipment on it. So starting with the Spank stem and handlebars, the Devo diamond fork, the coil Devo shock. The geometry is spot on. So if you look at the geometry on this bike or compare it to any of the other major brands, it's right where you want it to be. About a 65-degree head angle, pretty steep seat tube angle. The chainstay length is pretty average for bikes of this nature. It's a little longer than my analog bike, but it is what it is with these electric bikes. The Kinda Regolith Pro tires, these are actually a tire that I use quite a bit. So I have several of these in my arsenal. I love tires, and I've used these quite a bit on the front and rear. So I like that tire selection. It's got the SRAM Eagle drivetrain, the Magura electric e-bike brakes, and so these brakes, when you touch the brake, it actually deactivates the motor, which they say will help you shift. So if you want to shift and not put a ton of load on it, you can just grab brake and grab a shift. Name brand components all the way through, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the overall build. Woo, that is pretty exciting. Well, to kind of summarize what I think makes this bike special is, of course, it's a lightweight carbon fiber full suspension that gets to use all the power, all the power of the electric motor and battery has to offer. So there's not going to be any limitations. Pedal assist, thumb throttle, plus it's not going to shut off when you hit that 20-mile-an-hour limit if you don't want it to. And this thing has a lot of power. So when I ordered this motor, I ordered the largest of the motors, which is 1600 watts of peak power, at minimum around 500 watts of average power, like all the time. They make this, they've got options of 750 watts, 1200 watts, or the 1600 watts that I ordered. As a point of reference, your average like Shimano EP8 peak power is around 500 watts, and then like the average consistent power is 250 watts. So this thing is more than double of what your average e-bike power has, as far as just wattage power. Torque, which for me, torque is super important. I use the TowWhee tow bungees to tow like my family up big mountains, and the torque is a big deal. The torque on the motor that I got is 140 Newton meters, and again, as a point of reference, the like the Shimano is only 85 Newton meters, so a lot of torque. I ordered the medium-sized battery, so the battery that is in this is 728 watt-hours, 14 amp-hours. And I didn't go with the biggest battery because the more battery, the heavier they get. So I wanted it to not be too heavy, but have plenty of battery life, which we'll have to go do some range tests on it and see what it'll do. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to go ride it. So I will have that in the next video.